It speaks to the pressing need for collective action in addressing the challenges of small-scale mining while ensuring that it remains a sustainable and beneficial activity for our people. Over the years, we have witnessed an alarming level of environmental degradation caused by illegal and irresponsible mining practices. Our forests are being degraded. Our water bodies are being heavily polluted, rendering our lands barren. This is not only a threatening gesture to our ecosystem, but has also jeopardized the livelihood of many communities that depend on these natural resources. All three water basin systems in the country are under real threat. We have lost 44 of our forest reserves to illegal mining activities, and it will cost us several hundreds of thousands of cedis or dollars to reclaim them. The public outcry on this issue is testament to the urgency with which we must act. Therefore, as honorable members, you are not only lawmakers, but also direct representatives of your people who are most affected by the impact of these mining activities. We have seen the effect of pollution on our water bodies in the very communities we oversee. Babies born with defects or stillborns, and that is of particular pain to us women. To go through the whole process and have your joy curtailed is not something we look forward to. It is therefore fitting that we convene here today to engage in meaningful dialogue and orientation on how we can collectively tackle this national concern. The government of Ghana recognizes that restoring responsible mining practices require a multi-stakeholder approach, and this is why we have outlined deliberate steps to curb the illegal mining, regulate the sector effectively, and ensure that small-scale mining is conducted in a manner that benefits the economy and the local communities without compromising the environment.
The bare land, you don't see the forest anymore. These are parts of the reserve. The minister mentioned on Monday he was on the field. He went to Offense Shelter Belt Forest Reserve, the minister together with the regional minister. This is the devastation he went to see on Monday. Next slide. That's minister, and this is what you can see all over the place, 30 hectares degraded. Honorable Minister, we are hearing that the place is even more than 30 hectares. It's more than 50 hectares now. Please slide, go. These are some of the excavators who were moved out of the forest and sent out to the place. Now, we come to how these attacks are being done. In fact, out of the 9 areas, we have been able to recover one of the reserves, the Finch Shelter Belt. About 15 excavators were taken out of that forest reserve before the minister, through the minister's arrangement and the security agencies and the regional minister in Kumasi. They did a wonderful job. The minister went to inspect those excavators. The people who are doing this work, especially in the red-colored zone that I mentioned, this is the way they dress. They are heavily armed, using sophisticated weapons. The Forestry Commission their forest guards go with cutlasses, sometimes with guns, but short range. These people are well armed, they cannot. Unless we deploy the military to face these thugs, we cannot overcome this problem. Next slide. Yes, this is how you see them. In the middle picture is showing how our forest roads look like. They are rough, and when they block you here, you cannot pass anywhere to enter the forest. These pictures were taken by some of our forest guards who went through the forest, hid themselves at their own risk. They could have been attacked easily. This is the way they are dressed. And information is showing that some of them are foreigners coming from Burkina Faso, Togo, Cote d'Ivoire. But we don't want to pinpoint any country in this direction. We has indicated that there are 3 water basins in Ghana: the Volta, the South, the Western, and the Southwestern basin. And the most heavily affected is the Southwestern basin, where water treatment has become so high because of the pollution levels. And the rivers that are currently under threat are Ankobra River, River Pra, including Ofin, Brim, and Oda River, the Tano, and the Bia. These are the main rivers that flow. There are a few other ones, but all of them are now heavily polluted, and they need to be turned to blue under the Blue Water initiative of the president. Next slide. So this is what Minister talked about. The Water Resource Commission has indicated that to treat water, the turbidity level should be between 0 to 500 NTUs. So currently, they are ranging from 5,000 to 12,000 NTUs. It means at a point in time, they cannot even treat the water because they will continue to add chemicals upon chemicals, and what we will be drinking in our homes will just be poison. So it's a very critical issue. Apart from the NTU levels, the turbidity levels, there are chemical pollutants in the water like cyanide and mercury. They have indicated that those ones do not go under treatment. They only treat the turbidity levels, but not the chemicals in the water. So the more illegal activities we do on the landscape and pollute the waters, it means we are taking more cyanide and mercury, and in some cases hydrocarbons, where they are using the champagnes and using diesel in those engines.
That are being licensed stems from ownership of a land. And so you go to a community where the family or the stool had leased a land to a company or an individual. Then that individual assumes ownership of that portion of the land and now goes to government for license to mine. He's already assumed an authority to appropriate the land in a way he wants. And then he goes for the license, and then government also sees that, well, he owns the land already, and so I would give the mining license. That is what brings about the issue of mining companies having large concessions but still are not using them. And now we have to go back to them to surrender, which goes at a cost.
All right.
And you know, government will not be in the position of going for that surrender at a cost. And therefore, if we are to make it easier for concession to be monitored and supervised, then wherever we envisage a mineral concession, then the ownership of the land must be within the jurisdiction of the one that gives out the license for mining. Otherwise, ownership or authority over might be on two agencies and authorities, which might not help in supervising the mining. Thank you.
You didn't introduce yourself.
My name is Wala Sekbeli, Esquire, Afram Place North, MP.
Okay.
My worry is the turbidity levels. They are scary. There's a limit to how much chemicals you can use to treat water. And we get to a time when even the chemicals that the Ghana Water Company and Community Water may have will not even be able to treat this water. Let's be real. In this room, aside from members of parliament, I see a lot of media. Please, this is the time to sing this song together and collectively and put politics aside. Otherwise, we'll come to a time when we'll be importing water. And I'm not sure we have the funds to even do that. And we should not even get to that point. So thank you very much for this initiative. My minister, the Minister for Works, Housing and Water Resources, supports this initiative totally. And we'll work together to make sure that we are able to clean up this unfortunate mess that we have at our hands. Thank you.
Our win, because our win is in that. Where's our win?
I'm here.
Yes, please.
I thank the minister for this.
the Vice President of the Republic, Professor Jane Nana Opoku Ajiman, for coming not only to grace this occasion, but also to open this orientation brief. I thank all my colleague deputy speakers and the leadership of the House. I also want to thank all honorable members for being present in spite of the enormous pressures on them. I know a few of them might not be here. We are extremely also grateful to the heads of agencies present, and I welcome all the ladies and gentlemen who, in spite of not being qualified to be here, have found themselves here, including those who lost their elections. I thank you all for your active participation and insightful contributions. Today has been an opportunity for us all, as representatives of the people, to gain a deeper understanding of the urgent need to restore a culture of proper artisanal and small-scale mining in Ghana. I will not use the word illegal or galamsey, because they are just illegal because we made it so. We allow the commercial mining to be legal. We also allow some small-scale mining to be legal. By others, we say they are illegal because we legislated them to be illegal. I believe from the presentations, particularly the qualities you have seen, would have made an indelible mark in our minds. I've been part of this process for some time now and had one opportunity to hold a discussion of the leadership of small-scale mining at Kumasi. I've also seen on social media distressing images. And as a former minister for water resources, works and housing, I confronted some of the situations that were just narrated by some of the participants. And we were actually defeated because we could not match the strength and anger of those who were involved in it. There I realized that it was not just a few individuals that were involved, but it was the whole society that had given approval and, in fact, actively involved in what was happening on the ground. But we can no longer afford to turn a blind eye to the devastation that this type of mining has brought upon our lands, our forests, and our water bodies, and in fact, our food crops. As members of Parliament, we hold a sacred duty to ensure that the resources in our constituencies are managed responsibly and sustainably for the benefit of present and future generations. But it's important for all of us to note that the foundation of all human
so sacred that the first law of nature is self-survival. And we all have it in our local dialects that you cannot be carrying food and die of hunger. That is the reality we are faced with. We should take that on board in whatever solution we are trying to find to this crisis. And we all know that anytime you have a challenge, it's also an opportunity. And when you have crisis, you have prizes and you have prizes. And so together we can turn this around to our advantage. So the artisanal and small-scale mining, when we are able to get it done responsibly, has the potential to uplift our communities, create sustainable jobs, and contribute significantly to our national economy. Other governments have failed. They have failed because they did not get a proper prescription. This government cannot afford to fail. It will lead to hopelessness. The people have given us a huge trust, and they are very hopeful that together with them we'll find a solution to this serious national challenge. Honorable members, the fight against this culture of artisanal and small-scale mining is not the responsibility of the sector minister and his public servants alone, or that of the government. It is a collective responsibility that requires the commitment of all of us. I have small-scale mining in my area. In fact, my former constituency abounds with a lot of gold. We encourage foreign investors to take over the concessions, mine, and take away our gold. That one is lawful, it's not illegal. But when our own people struggle to create jobs for themselves, struggle to survive in spite of the dangers that they know they are facing, you call that illegal and you go to shoot them on sight. Please, this is a mark of a serious indictment on leadership. This is a collective effort, and the solution is not far. And I want to commend the minister for this initiative because it's the way forward. Sooner than later, we'll find a national solution to this problem. And it will be a win-win situation. I want to assure you, Honorable Minister, that we in Parliament stand with you in this fight. And we provide the necessary legislative backing and oversight to ensure that your efforts and that of the government yield the desired results. Some years ago, I had a discussion with consultants from Australia on this type of mining. It's not only in Ghana, it's global. How have the others managed it? And we cannot. And so there are answers to these questions, and they are not easy to find. unequivocal in stating that Parliament will not tolerate any member of Parliament, regardless of your position, who is found to be complicit in destructive mining activities. There is a petition before me concerning a member of Parliament, and the member will tell you that I have initiated investigation into that petition. And the member himself has appeared before me on that. We are not going to countenance it at all. What we've seen today is just a stark reminder of the consequences of such actions. As lawmakers, we must lead by example. Any member of Parliament caught engaging in or facilitating this type of existential threat to our lives will face the full rigors of the law. And I mean what I say. We cannot preach accountability and integrity to the nation while turning a blind eye to misconduct within our ranks. And some of you, the misbehavior that has happened in my absence, I've taken full note of them. And what will happen will happen. As we leave this conference, let us carry with us a renewed sense of purpose and determination. Let us be champions of responsible mining in our constituencies. Let us educate our communities, support sustainable practices, and work collaboratively to eradicate the menace of environmentally destructive mining. The task ahead of us, as the senior prefect has stated, is daunting. But I'm very confident, with great resolve, we can create a proper culture of sustainability and environmentally friendly mining in Ghana. We can only do this when leadership shows the way. It's better to invest in the mining sector than to invest in what we are doing these days. Very useless, expensive spending. But let me end by thanking all of you for your participation and commitment. And let us go forth and be the change we wish to see. Thank you, and may God bless our homeland Ghana and make us stronger and better. Thank you so much.